Hello my dear students. In this particular lecture, we will be studying a new module called the DC motor drives. Actually, power electronics, whatever we have learned from that subject, the waveforms in a modified way through the power electronic devices we can apply to different types of machines such as DC motor, induction motor, synchronous motor, and pertaining to our requirement, we can control the speed and torque of those type of machines. Now the methods are different, the applications are different. So the first type of drives which we will study, that is the DC motor drives. So an overview is given over here, that what is an electric drive. This we have already discussed, so I will not go deep into the details. Of course, systems employed for motion control are called drives. So this we have already studied, that systems employed for motion control, they are called drives. So controlling of the motion is very important. And electric drives that use DC motors as the prime movers are called DC motor drives or DC drives. So first, let us study that before studying or before going deep into the details, we have to see that where they are used. So the applications of DC drives are transportation system, rolling mills, paper mills, textile mills, machine tools. Different types of machine tools are there. So there you require DC motor drives, fans, pumps, robots, washing machines, etc. So depending on, again I am focusing that depending upon the requirement or depending upon the motion control, they may be categorized as translational, rotational, or a combination of both. So I need not elaborate these things because translational means linear motion, LIN, that means linear, and circular motion or angular motion, that is called rotational motion, ROT. So these two types of motions are possible, and basically these type of motions can be modified by using a gear system or a transmission system. And I have shown that suppose there is a modified load where a gear is used, and with the help of a gear we are varying the teeth ratio. And once we are varying the teeth ratio, what we are obtaining is we are obtaining the different types of speed, or we can rather control the speed by means of a gear arrangement that we can do. So that is one of the major advantages that we get by help of gear. So actually this is known as motion modification. So that is a very important aspect that one should know if that person wants to apply it. And see, the different industries have different sorts of requirements. So suppose at one point of time you need 70 rpm and another point of time you need 90 rpm. So the rpm is changing rapidly with time, so the speed profile is different. So you may vary the speed of the motor, this is one possibility. And with the help of a gear, what you can do is you can control the teeth ratio so that you can get a modified speed at the output. That is another possibility. So generally a drive system is basically as a mechanical gear, a transmission system, and a prime mover. What is a prime mover? That means you have to keep the motion. That means there has to be a mechanical force, and the object or the instrument which gives you a mechanical force, it is called a prime mover. So the next thing is the advantages of drives. So of course they have flexible control characteristics. Let us recap this thing. Starting and braking is easy and simple. And yes, starting and braking are the two very important things, that because it is dependent on the motion requirement, because you need to start a motor at any time, or you need to stop a motor or slow down a motor at any other time, at any time. So for that, what you require is a flexible control characteristic. So this is very much correlated with each other. They are rather interlinked with each other. So if you have a flexible control characteristics for that drive, then only your starting and braking and your precision of attainment of speed and torque, that will be easy and simple. So I will rather cite this with the help of a real life example. Suppose in an industry a DC motor drive is there, and let us draw the torque requirement. So if you observe the torque requirement with respect to time, so let us say that for the first 5 seconds the torque is this particular value. For the next again 5 seconds the torque has this value, and again the torque is going higher at this particular value, and the torque is getting lower at this particular point of time. So let us, for simplicity of our observation or analysis, let us say that all these changes are occurring for 5 seconds. So basically you are getting a total operation time of 20 seconds, and let us again assume that this pattern of torque, it is getting repeated over time. It is getting repeated over time. So now you see, suppose this particular torque is, say, let us start with the lowest. So let us say this is 20. This particular value is 50. This particular value is 30. And let us say this value is 120. And the units are in Newton meter. Your unit is Newton meter in the y-axis and seconds in the x-axis. So now you see that for the 5 seconds, it is giving you 50 Newton meter up till here. Now instantaneously you see it is falling by 20 Newton meters and the value is 30 Newton meter. That means at the end of the 5th second, you require a delta tau instantly of how much? 50 minus 30. That is equal to 20 Newton meter. And you see that this particular reduction in torque has to occur instantaneously at this particular point, at this point. So if your motor, or rather your electric drive, it is not flexible, its response time, if it is not instantaneous, then at that particular point of time, instead of, say, the final value to be 30 Newton meter, it will be, say, 35 Newton meter. So for that particular time interval, let this be Newton meter, for that particular time interval, what was your required value? 30, but you are getting 35. So at that particular time, that is 5 second, 5th second, at that particular point of time, there is a error, that is delta E of 5 Newton meter. And what is the root cause of this error? The root cause of this error is a rigid control characteristics. Your characteristics is not flexible. So your characteristics is not flexible. It is not flexible. Number one. Number two, your electric drive control system, it is not responsive. Because had it been responsive, you would have obtained a correct value of 30 Newton meter at 5th second. That you are getting 35 Newton meter. Now let us say this value of 30 Newton meter you are getting at 7th second. That means when t equal to 7. So basically you were requiring how much extra time? So delta t is equal to 7 minus 5. That means you are requiring 2 extra seconds. That means you are attaining a correct value, that is 5. It is not that you are not getting this 30 Newton meter at all, but you are getting at a later point of time. You are not getting that value instantaneously. That means at the 5th second. Rather, you are taking 2 seconds of extra time, which is not desirable. That means your control system or the electric drive system, it is slow, which is not desirable. So you need a flexible control characteristics. Only then the starting and braking should be easy and simple. So they are very much correlated with each other. Now these things are inherent properties of the motor you choose, the ratings of the motor you choose. And in the previous module we have already discussed the selection of motor power rating which has to be used in an industry. So obviously this AC and DC motor, they provide a wide range of torque over wide range of speeds. So they are applicable for both AC and DC motor. Their availability is for wide range of electric power. Works at almost any type of environmental condition. So if it is humid, if it is hot, if it is cold, doesn't matter, it will be surviving in extreme environmental conditions. So no exhaust gases are emitted. So obviously it sounds a little irrelevant over here, but you see, since we are dealing with a system at this age of green energy and clean energy, we have to see that if there is any emission or not. That is one of the major requirement. And yes, they do not have any exhaust gases emitted from them. And the last, which is the most important, that is they will be capable of operating in all the 4 quadrants of the speed and torque plane, and they can be accelerated and started at a very short time. So they should be capable of operating in all the 4 quadrants of the speed and torque plane. That means your torque, it will have a positive value and it may have a negative value. Your speed, that is omega, it may have a positive value, it may have a negative value. So this range of tau and omega will be wide, which is given over here, and the directions they will be in all these 4 possible combinations. That is the requirement, and yes, your DC motor drive is compatible with this requirement or satisfy this particular requirement. So now So the main important thing is that which electric drive should you choose. That is the choice of the electric drives. So the first condition which is given over here, it is the steady state operation requirements. That is the nature of the speed torque characteristics, speed regulation, speed range, efficiency, duty cycle, quadrants of operation, speed fluctuations, rating. So all these things are very much specific to the requirement of an industry. So the speed range may be different for a, maybe one for a cement plant, and the speed torque range may be different, or it is some other range for a rolling mill or a paper mill, say. And the next requirement is the speed regulation. So that means the speed, for the speed control, speed regulation is required. That means how much RPM at maximum which we can operate, and what is the lowest operating RPM. That is, this difference is known as speed regulation, and the speed range, maximum RPM and the minimum RPM. Then comes the efficiency. So efficiency is again a very important thing which will prove to be, or which proves to be very much crucial for the operation of the plant. The efficiency of the drive is a matter of concern. So more is the efficiency, more is your utilization, or more is the utilization of your drives which is employed in the industry. And obviously more is the efficiency, lesser will be your win. That is another important. Next is the duty cycle. Duty cycle is very much related with the thermal characteristics of an electric drive. So we have seen the, or rather we have studied the heating and the cooling curves of an electric drive. And we have seen that when you are starting a motor, what is happening? The temperature of the motor is increasing from a minimum value to a particular value when it is operating, and when it is idle, then the temperature is falling. So it not necessarily means that it will be idle after a particular point of time. So it will be operating at a particular load for say T1 amount of time. So the temperature will rise, then the load will become less, and this lesser load is sustaining for T2 amount of time. Now it may happen again for the next T3 seconds, the torque will be higher than the previous value, and again there will be heating, and for the next T4 seconds it will be again much lower than the previous value, then again the cooling will be rapid. So depending upon, this is known as the duty, and the duty is very much related that what load profile or what load requirement is that motor subjected to, or motor being subjected to in that particular industry. That is very important. That is known as duty cycle. And obviously I have said that the quadrants of operation, it should be able to operate at all the four quadrants of the speed torque. That is your requirement. Now the speed fluctuation is also very important. So you have to see whether the speed is fluctuating or not. If the speed is too much fluctuating, then it is not desirable. The fluctuations has to be lesser, and maybe there is a load torque profile in such a way that you require speed fluctuation. That means change in speed is very rapid. And the last but not the least is the rating. So it is depending that what maximum load torque is the machine being, or the drive being subjected to. So keeping some factor of safety, you have to choose the motor power rating accordingly. Next comes is the steady state operation requirements. Next comes the transient operation requirements. I will rather omit these things or it will become clumsy. Now it is clear. So the transient operation requirement. So the values of acceleration and deceleration, this is important. Then the starting and braking, these two things has to be there, and speed reversal. That means angular acceleration, it can be positive and it can be negative, and this angular acceleration is denoted by alpha. This is angular acceleration. Now the starting and braking has to be there. So the motor has to start, that means the speed should increase, and the motor has to brake, that has to be there. And maybe if you see the speed, if it is plus omega, then the speed may be negative, it may be minus omega at particular point of time. So a motor will be subjected to all these changes, and these changes occur for a very short time, for a very short duration, and that's why it is being referred to be as transient. In this case, your source will be DC. Next comes the capital and the running cost, the maintenance needs and life periods. So you have to see that what will be your capital cost and what will be your running cost. These two things are very important, because you see, when you are setting your plant, then first you have to do a plan, and with the plan you have to do a cost analysis, and after the cost analysis you determine what will be your capital cost and what will be your running cost, and again your maintenance cost is there. So these costs you have to calculate, and for one financial year or one annual year you have to see that what money you are putting. So what is the sum total of all these costs over a period of 12 months, and what revenue you are generating from your plant. So if you are generating a revenue above your minimum revenue, then you can say that your plant is generating profit. So all these things has to be analyzed before setting up a plant. Then space and weight restrictions. So you have to see that what floor space area it is occupying, and if the mass of the system is very high, then you have to think that whether you will be able to set up that system in that particular place. So you have to study these things again. Then the next thing is environment and location. So you are setting up your plant in such a location when the transport cost is very high. Rather, it may happen that you are setting up a plant when noise pollution is there. And again, if you are setting up a plant when it is polluting an environment, maybe in terms of noise pollution and air pollution, it is again also not desirable. So all these things you have to see. And finally, last but not the least, you have to see whether your system is reliable or not. Whether what operation you are doing, that thing has to be reliable, or else your system is not acceptable. That you have to check. So we will be continuing with the details of the DC motor drives in the next lecture. This was an introduction of DC motor drives. Thank you.